Howdy folks, Sage with Ranch Armor here doing another install video. Today we're doing a Polaris 1000 roof and wiring install. So, as per usual, we're going to start out with the tools that you need. You'll need your 3/8 drive, 1/4 inch drive, and a 1/4 inch ratchet. You will also need some kind of poking tool. It doesn't need to be a screwdriver necessarily, and a torch, and you'll see why here in a little bit. Crimpers, wire strippers, a ratchet with a 10mm socket, a 7/16 socket, 7/16 wrench, a 5/32 Allen bit, and a, pretty sure this is an 1/8 inch Allen bit. As far as the tools required, it will all come in the Northstar crew kit. But one important thing to remember, oh, I almost forgot, your T40. And that should be it as far as the tools go. So we did already take the roof off before we start getting into the video. But there is something very important that I'm going to say. In the back, you're going to pull out T40 Torx screws. Do not lose these. Keep the OEM ones out of your roof. You will be reusing these in just a moment. Anyways, that being said, let's get into it. Alright, so to start out, we're going to go ahead and get directly into what we're going to do with those T40 bolts I just told y'all to keep. So it's going to be for this back bracket here. Looks like this, and it's a pretty simple install. You just put it on top here and line up your holes. And if you want to go ahead and start a few by hand just to give yourself some insurance, that's all right. And then just drill them on in. There it goes. And then don't forget your two on the ends here. Remember, you don't want to screw in anything tight to start out. Want to leave everything loose, so that way if you need to give yourself a little bit of play, you can give yourself some play. Then once you've got all your screws at least started or in, tighten it down. And just like that, the back bracket is installed. Alright, with that back bracket installed, now we get to do a little sit-down work. We're going to move on to your front block-off plates. They're going to look like this. It's going to come in two pieces. I've got them just stacked on top of each other right now. You're going to have one side that is just for the holes, and one side with your screws on there. Now, I just put the screws on, or the washers on here, just as a temporary hold. But you're going to want to take these off, because whenever you do install this, your screws go up. You will want your screws facing out, and we'll get into that right now. Recording? Alright. So, like I said, bolts up, and it's going to go right into this frame. You're just going to follow the pattern. Drop your top block-off plate down on top of it, and then you're going to put on your washers. Then obviously your nuts to hold it all down. Then you'll take your 7/16 on a 1/4 inch drive. Go ahead and make sure it's lined up and tighten them down. Just like that, and we're done. Now we're on to the middle block off plate. As you can see, this one is a little bit different. It's got this notch right here. It's going to go, like we've been talking about, on the inside. Then again, take your top, drop it down, get your washers on there, and then your nuts. Then again, make sure everything's lined up and looking good. And screw her down. Just like that, there's the middle. And then finally, we have our final side. And it's just the same process over and over, just rinse and repeat. Screws up, block off plate down, then your washers, then your nuts. Then again, line up. And just like that, we have completed our block off plates. All right, now we're ready to throw on the roof. We'll get back to you with that here in just a second. Ready?
1, 2, 3.
It's got to come forward. A little too far, a little too far. Back it up. Bring it back to me just a hair.
Yes, we're using the phone, right?
Or this way. Right there.
Yes.
That ought to be good. I can line it up from there.
All right. What else you got? Yep.
All right, so to install that roof, definitely go grab you some friends. Tell them you'll buy them an ice cold drink afterwards, because that thing is heavy and it ain't no joke. But now let's get into bolting and securing that. All right. Our next step here, after our roof is up, we're going to line up these holes. And I'll bring you up here so you can kind of see what we're talking about. It's going to be this hole right here. It's going to be on the most inside of your unit, the most inside hole. So what we're going to do, if you remember from earlier, we're going to take our poking device and a torch. This is just so that it'll help us burn through that foam that's going to be up there that is helping protect the ceiling. So go ahead and get this nice and heated up with your little torch. And then poke it on through the hole. Once you do that, remember this is still going to be pretty hot, so don't put it on anything plastic or leather. Then we can take our 1/4 inch bolt with a washer on it, run it up inside that hole, take our washer, and on the outside put on the washer, then the nut. And if you're anywhere where it's hot, you might have sweaty fingers like me, so it might take you a second. And I'll bring you all up here so you can see what I did. It's going to be this guy right here. And you're just going to go ahead and leave it loose for right now, because you want to go ahead and get all 4 bolts inside those channels before we tighten anything down. So anyways, let's go ahead and get to the next side. Alright, now that we're here on the other side again, find your hole. Make sure it lines up with the hole inside of your roof. And if you need to adjust and double check, that's okay. Heat up your poker. And then run it on through. And you can kind of wiggle it around just to give yourself a little bit extra room. And then we'll continue on with the bolt going through. A lot of this is just going to be rinse and repeat, guys. Just rinse and repeat. Go ahead and back y'all up some. And there it is. Let's go ahead and move on to the back. Alright, so for the rear, you're going to want to use this hole right there. That is the one that you want to line up with the hole on the roof. Now this is going to be kind of difficult to see, so I'm just going to go ahead and install the bolts and all that, and I'll show you the finished product afterwards. Alright, as you can see there, we have our bolt through. And on, the nut is on but not tightened down yet. And you're going to do the exact same thing for the other side. Alright, and now we are ready to, with our 7/16 1/4-inch socket on our 1/4-inch ratchet, we're ready to tighten her down. Just like that. Now we'll go ahead and do that for everything. Alright, we're going to be getting into something a little bit new. To get the main wire for the roof, your main power, you have to use a channel that is going to exit right there. Go ahead and show y'all where the entrance is. You're going to go in right there. And I'll show you again here in a minute, but just so we have a clear understanding, this is where you're going to feed your main power through. It's going to run down this. And then right here, you're going to need a new tool that we did not talk about in the beginning. But it's okay, I have the utmost confidence that y'all will be able to get this. You need a 7/16 and a 13 mil wrench. Because this has to come out in order for that wire to be able to fit through there. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, like I said, we need a 13 mil wrench that is going to go around this nut that's on the back side here. Then your 7/16 goes around this nut right here. Because you're going to want to take out this window bracket to be able to feed your wire through. Now there will come a point where you might need to come over here, and it's better to have a buddy do it, but at the moment everyone I'm friends with is busy. So I'm going to use my hard head and do this next part. You just kind of get up underneath here with your head and prop it up some so that you can continue getting this bolt out without causing any damage to anything. Just like that. Now you can lower it down. It's not gonna hurt nothing. And just set it down. Then you want to carefully get this bolt out, because if it falls down there, it goes into Never Ever Land, and then we're in a whole new world of issues. Alright, let's get into doing some wiring. Alright, starting to get into the wiring. You're going to want to go ahead and set up your relay and your breaker right about here in this area. Then you're going to receive a plug that looks just like this in your power kit. You're going to take this and plug it in right here. It doesn't really matter which one, as long as these can reach these prongs right here. So, you're going to want to take your negative and put it on, oh, if I can get it, right there, and your positive and put it right there. So, the key factor to remember here is that wherever you put your negative, that is where you're going to run your breaker wire, because that is your battery. So that is going to ground that out. So, I'll go ahead and take this real short one, put it right there, and just loop it around. I'm going to go ahead and set up the breaker first. Go ahead and put your screw back on. And your other one. And if you want to, you can go ahead and tighten these down. Make sure it's good and snug. Then we can go ahead and take off the nut that's holding on to the power. Again, this is going to be with your 10mm socket that we talked about in the very beginning of the video, way back then. Alright. Go ahead and take your long wire here. Hook one end up to your power. And you can go ahead and throw this nut back on there just to get it back out of the way so we don't lose anything. And then you're going to circle it around, taking kind of the best possible path that you can, and hook it up to the other side of your breaker. Go ahead and screw that back down. And remember, you can go ahead and tighten these down so that you don't forget I've done it plenty of times where I have gotten everything hooked up, went to go turn on the unit to test everything, and nothing turned on because I forgot to tighten down one of these screws, and it's just a big waste of time and kind of aggravating. Alright, move up here to our power. Didn't go on there very well. That's okay. Alright, and now we're ready to run the main roof power. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get into running the main roof wire. So if you remember where we undid that window arm, we're going to run our fish wire up through there. And it can be a little bit tricky, but with enough patience and perseverance, you'll get it done. I have the utmost confidence in each and every one of you. If an old cowhand like me can do it, you can too. There we are. And what you're gonna do, I'll show you here. Oh, if I don't block the camera. Sorry, I know that's rough. Go. I'm paranoid. I like to really wrap this thing up good because I don't like it when it comes apart. Then you're just gonna feed it back through. Alright, now we're gonna have some fun. Not like we haven't been having any already, right? So underneath your dash here, there's gonna be 2 push pins. If you reach under there, you'll feel them. With your push pin removal tool, get in there. Take those out. And do not lose those. Those are very important. Alright, just like that. Then, we can just pop that right out. Now this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting. If you've got a friend that has some skinny arms, skinny and long arms, it is going to be very, very helpful in this next part because it's not fun for those folks that work out consistently. So what you're going to do, alright, so we're going to take this end of our wire and we're going to run it down into what I called Never Ever Land earlier. And it can be a little bit difficult. Be sure to be patient with yourselves. Don't beat yourselves up if you can't do it very well on the first try. Because it fights me like this every time. We're only human. Alright. Be sure to feed just a little bit more of it. And what you're going to do, where we opened earlier, we're going to reach in there and we're going to feel around and try to grab it. Alright. Well, I had it here a second ago. Where did you go? There it is. Once you get it got, pull it all the way through until you have no slack left. Alright, next. Alright, so this is an HVAC model, which means this next step is going to be frustrating. Right in the front here, you're going to run your fish back through there. As you can see, I've already done it. And you're going to pull it out right there. And you're going to go ahead and do like we did earlier. Tape it up and pull it on through. Alright, boys and girls, we are on the home stretch of the wiring at least. We've still got a ways to go though. So, here are your roof wires. You've got your power, and you've got your ground. So your power is going to come over here to the opposite side of the relay that your battery is on. Then your ground, you're going to bring up. Go ahead and get this nut off. Bring up your ground. Oop.
Let me know when you're ready for the knee basket.
There you
take
go.
both of us.
And don't forget, we can go ahead and tighten everything down on here. And there it is. Let's go see if it works. Alright, up here you can see your 8 gang. In your Infinite Off-Road or aux beam box, you will receive a little control board that looks about like this. You're going to take this, plug it in up there, then you will just turn on the battery of your unit.
Don't worry, Sean, I'm making a dent in these green apples.
Hey, I thought you didn't like those.
I don't, but they're good.
Take them all. Take them all.
Let's see if it worked. Alright, we've got that front one. The whole thing's lit up. Let's go ahead and just turn on our side lights because they're over here, and as you can see behind me, they turned on. We did it right. Ladies and gentlemen, through blood, sweat, and tears, we have come this far. But go a little bit further with me until we finish this thing. Next, we're going to take our control box, our little button board here, and inside your box you'll find these 2 brackets. These are what's going to hold it whenever you go to attach it to your machine. It's going to come with these little black screws, kind of hard to see, and this little Allen wrench. You're going to use this to go ahead and put these on. There we go. Leave it just a little loose, just in case you have to play with it and shuffle it around some. go. And the last one. Whenever you put in your last one, you can go ahead and just tighten them all down. There we go. Now we're going to take this second piece here. And as you can see, that's where that Allen head is going to fit in. So just line it up. It'll go inside. And you can just kind of partially screw them on. You don't need to screw them down all the way. Not yet, anyhow. Again, if your fingers are a little sweaty like mine are, you can go ahead and use that Allen key. Just give it a few good turns. Just make sure that it's in there. Alright, let's get ready to move on. Let's go ahead and install our button board. So, this part is entirely optional and up to you. We find it best to put it up here on this little tongue. But if this is not where you want it to go, then it is entirely up to you. The only thing that you have to ensure is that the other end that we plugged into the 8-gang earlier, if you remember, can make it to this end, because these two plug in and then that's what powers this. So you'll want to take a 5/16 magnetic socket and a self-driver. Now again, this is entirely optional if you want to put it up here, so it is not going to be included in your kit, but they can be found at your local hardware store. Go ahead and take it. Ooh, there she goes. There she goes. Throw in the one on the other side. And they don't have to match up and be pretty because they're never going to be seen. There's that. Now we can take that Allen key and tighten it down. Of course, find where you want it to sit. We're going to do about like that right there. And then if you want to, go ahead and take this wire, run it back up here, then get everything all lined up. You'll see there's a little notch inside of there. There's a notch inside of there. You line those up and plug them in just like that. And we will get into securing this in just a moment. Alright, boys and girls, we're moving right along. Alright, now if you remember, very long ago at the beginning of this video, we needed an 8-inch Allen head bit. That's going to be for these little tiny baby screws right here. What these are going to do is they're going to put this bus bar, kind of adjust you here, this bus bar back onto our ranch armor roof. So let's go ahead and get into that. You're gonna have to adjust a little bit, but I think everything's gonna be okay. So you can see right here, these 4 prongs. This just fits over these real nice, just like this. And you can kind of hammer it up there a little bit if you need a little extra oomph. But now we can take these screws and cinch her down. Just like that. And there we are. Nice and secured. Ain't going anywhere. All right, so next, in your hardware kit, you're gonna receive these little tabs. These are gonna work for these black screws right here. This is gonna be to hold your headliner up. Whenever you have your headliner up, you're just gonna line up the holes with that right there and send that screw on through. And that will help hold it up. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, we're gonna do a little bit more pre-op now. With your light, you're gonna take these 5/32 Allen head screws with washer and nuts. And because it is kind of a tight fit, you're gonna go ahead and pre-run these through. Don't go too tight because you can and will destroy this plastic. Do not say I did not warn you. All right, these can sit out of the way for now. Next, you're gonna take this bracket right here, looks like that. And you're just gonna kind of pre-line up your holes, and it might need to be wiggled a little bit, kind of played with, but it will fit. Just like that. So you just want to make sure it fits real quick. You are going to take it back off. I just like to do that for insurance purposes. Like I said, it can take some wiggle and play. Alright, so there wasn't really a good way for me to show y'all how to actually get this headliner back up. What I can tell you, and it is very vital and the key element, use the headliner to hide all of your wires. Then, you've still got your leftover front piece. You're going to cut out a little notch. That'll allow it to go around this, and it's going to be a tight squeeze, but it is doable, as you can see. And so we also have little clips with the 1/8 inch Allen head screws through them. So what I do, and it is a little bit of rework, if you can figure out how to do it without cussing and kicking and screaming the whole time, feel more than free. I am not going to stop you. But I'll go ahead and install this, screw them all the way up, cut out my notch, slide that into where it needs to go, and then I'll go back and just one at a time take these back out and screw them right back in. And then sometimes it is a little bit of a trick to find where you need to go. If you need to look. Nobody's here to judge you. We're just here to make sure that you get a pretty dang cool looking roof on top of your brand new unit. Or maybe not even brand new. Doesn't even need to be brand new. We just know that we produce a good quality product and we want y'all to have it as much as possible. But like I said, just continue on down the line. Find angles, do what you need to do. There she goes. There she goes. One at a time. One at a time. I'm telling you, by the time y'all are done with this video, you're gonna be sick and tired of hearing of me. There it is. Give that back. And then you just do that down the rest of the way. And we'll be showing you the finished product here in just a moment. All right. That being said, we are basically done, ladies and gentlemen. Get y'all into a good position here. So as you can see, everything's nice and neat. Go ahead and flip this back out. There you go. And we'll go ahead and do a little test run, make sure everything's working all right. There it is. And that is your Polaris Ranger 1000 install and wiring guide. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us in the comments. And if you have any interest in purchasing one of these, visit us at rancharmorutv.com. Thank you and have a great day.